And now for the show that's truly too hot to handle. It's The Melting Pat, and it starts right now.
You're listening to The Melting Pat. Here's your host, Pat Johnson.
Well, thank you, Jerome. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the show, The Melting Pat, the Next Level Network. Thank you for being here. Hope your day is going well. Today's a special day. Many special days in a row here at the show, in that it's not just me. We sat down with a wonderful musician and just a great dude all around, and David Michael Frank, and we just chatted. We just got done, actually, so I figured I have the microphone set up. I might as well record all this now and not have to worry about it later. So hopefully we didn't have any big audio issues. Like I said, haven't started any of the stuff because we just finished 10 minutes ago, not even. So we went all over. We went all about his songwriting process and how things have changed with how he's releasing music and how he's embraced TikTok, which apparently I'm supposed to do according to some people. And we went all over the place with all of that stuff. So it was really fun. Enjoyed it a lot. He's a great dude. He appears also, need to mention this, he appears courtesy of 258 PR. Thank you, Hope, very much for sending him my way. So his new song is called Only One. We're going to play it at the end of the chat here. But for the moment, yeah, this is all the show is, just me chatting. Nothing else. I know we got Game of the Week for the NFL. Week 1 is upon us, but I have not even picked a game yet because I'm doing this on Wednesday. So, yeah, if you want to get in on that, let me know. But for now, the show for today is me chatting with, I almost did it again, David Michael Frank. There we go. I feel like I have to say it in my head 3 times before I say it out loud. Anyway, just crap the can open. Here we go. Also, I forgot to tell you, you could say whatever you want. You may be censored by the Super Mario coin sound effect, but don't let that stop you.
All right.
Sometimes I forget to mention that, and people are like, oh my God, can I swear? You can swear. Say whatever you want.
All right. I will be as uncensored as possible.
So how you doing, man? Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm doing good. It's sort of a crazy, hectic time in my life, but looking around and enjoying the ride. Doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. Just, working and doing the dad stuff. I think we're both dads of 1-year-olds, correct?
Yeah, my baby just turned 1. How old's your baby?
He turned 1 in May.
Oh man, exciting times.
Oh my God, it's a lot. It's a lot. I don't know if anyone else knows this. Toddlers are a lot.
Yeah. That's what we're going to talk about on the podcast today. We're going to talk all about babies. And how do you guys have any help?
No, my wife's a stay-at-home mom. She's a superhero, and it's kind of it. We're just doing the thing. Sometimes, like if we got to go somewhere, we do have people kind of on standby if we need them. But generally, it's just 2 of us. Just her. Well, it's more her doing all the things. It's nuts.
Man, yeah. We just passed the baby back and forth. So for this podcast, she knows that she's watching the baby. But I know the second we finish, she's gonna be like, "All right, take the baby," and I'm like, "All right, fine."
And then you have another one after this.
It's true. I have 2 podcasts today, so it's a busy day for me. But
wow, you could have brought the baby on this show. That would be fun.
I could have. He does well.
Your 1-year-old, I don't know.
There's a bunch of other 1-year-olds listening to the podcast on their own platforms.
Oh man, that'd be fun. Good luck, kids. Sorry for the coins. Yeah. So you got a lot going on. You just released a new song. We're going to talk about it. It's your solo debut, correct?
Yeah, I've been in bands for. I think at this point it's probably like 12 years or so of being a professional musician, releasing music in bands, and for the first time I am releasing music under my own name, which is a little crazy and exciting, and so it's weird to call it my debut because I've really had a lot of releases, but under my name, this is my debut. This is the first song under David Michael Frank. The song is called Only One, and it sort of feels like the beginning of my career, which is exciting.
Yes, you've kind of been in the trenches musically, I suppose, because you've been doing, the band thing, and now you're on your own. So how is the process? How is the transition, I guess, from writing with the band to writing by yourself? Like, do you do all the stuff yourself? Do you have people come in and say, hey, can you check this out and see where we can go? How does it work generally when you, at this point now, put a song together?
It's actually a little different. When I was in bands, I usually wrote all of the music, produced most of it or all of it, and then would send an email to the guys being like, "Hey, here's the demo. What do you think? Do you have anything you change?" And usually it was like, "Yeah, the drums are cool. I can come in and record them." And they would, the drummer would record the parts that I programmed, and the guitarist would add something to the extra guitar layers. He would always try to add like a lead guitar line on top of whatever I'd already recorded. But as far as lyrics goes and music and melody, that was usually all me. And then when I moved to Nashville a year ago, I had been growing a lot on TikTok, and a bunch of songwriters hit me up. And in Nashville, I don't know if you know, but the songwriting scene is insane out here. They will schedule themselves in a write at 10 a.m., schedule a write for 1 p.m. and a write for 5 p.m., and they'll set up sort of a different group of who's writing with who and what their goal is and what are they writing for. So I got hit up by all these songwriters, like probably trying to make a buck when I release a song eventually. But I entertained the idea, and I went outside of my comfort zone, and I decided to, all right, well, I've been writing and releasing by myself for all these years, sure, in bands, but I was always the sole writer. How do I write with other people who are pros? So when I got to Nashville, I started doing all these writing sessions with people who their jobs are just rhyme schemes and a message. Maybe it's not a message that's so personal to them, but they can write about them and they know all the tricks and trades. So I'm used to writing from my heart and practically sometimes crying while writing the song and pacing around the room for days on end to try to get the perfect lyric and the perfect meaning and message. So then when you pair that with people who have the skills of writing about something that isn't their most deepest heart personal feeling, you actually get something really, really exciting. So with all of my upcoming music, not all of it, but most of my upcoming music, I actually worked with people who they write for a living. So they were able to help me get what I was trying to get, with me still running the ship and on the reins, but with people who are more talented at words than I am, because they're doing it 3 times a day. I do a million things, and I play guitar and bass and drums and piano and sing, and I make TikToks, and I have a vlog channel, and I have a CBD company on the way, and there's a baby and a wife, and she has her own channel. I'm doing a million things, so I'm not writing 3 songs a day like these people are. So yeah, it was really, really exciting, and I have written the best songs of my life, and only one is the first one that I've rolled out, but they're all very personal to me, and I'm just really excited to start rolling them out.
So you have all these ideas, and you kind of come in maybe with a polished idea, maybe with a raw idea, and you sit down with a songwriter, and they say, okay, here's you have your plan. You say, okay, how do we get there? How do we make this idea, whether you have a hook, whether you have a verse, whether you just have 7 words and the rest of it, an outline or whatever you do. And so these people just sit down and say, okay, here's how we're going to get there. And they kind of guide you along in that way.
Yeah, in the past I've been writing, like I said, sort of more from the heart and more personal and in that way. And when you combine it with people who they think in song math, and they think in a certain amount of beats that need to be in to be repetitive and catchy, and this is going to be the rhyme scheme that we're going to use. We're going to do an AABA, where in the past I was following a rhyme scheme, but I would maybe make exceptions because I had a message I was trying to say. So now you sort of combine it, and they take sort of my unpolished, self-taught musical writing, and I've released hundreds of songs, but I've learned my own tricks and trades, compare it with people who do this a little bit more by the book, as far as these are the tricks and trades of what works, what Max Martin and Ryan Tedder and maybe some of the great songwriters out there are setting up with. Yeah, so they've just been helping me polish some of those ideas, and it's been really exciting.
That's kind of awesome. I feel like I should. I released some music last year, and it was stuff we wrote when we were teenagers, and I finally got around to recording because, well, there was a global pandemic, and I had nowhere to go.
Mhm.
And then my wife got pregnant, and I said, "Okay, we've had this project for so long. now I have a hard deadline. It's got to be done before the kid comes, because if it's not, I'm never going to do it. And
Mhm.
so finally I was like, yeah, this is great. And so I've been thinking, like, how do I do the next one? I'm like, what if someone else, what if I get a pro? I think that would be an interesting kind of dynamic where, like, here's what I have. Now make it sound prettier.
Yeah.
Thanks. Here's $700. Thank you.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, when you work with people, and I do a lot of production on the side for other people. I do less now, but when I lived in Los Angeles, it was such a grind that I would take more gigs and do more mixing and production and mastering for people, and video recording. But when you get to the state that you can start to spend money on your art and work with people who are more talented than you at whatever it might be mixing, it might be mastering, it might be vocal production, could be songwriting, could be anything. It really is exciting and it unlocks a lot. I struggle to allow myself to outsource certain things. I would love to find somebody to do some of the tasks that I like hate, like for example, vocal comping and editing. I would love to just be able to sing and know I sang fine or whatever, know I sang well and leave it with someone I trust. But I've never had somebody who can hear my voice and edit my vocals the way I want. Same with mixing. I've hired a lot of mixing engineers, and you give them the $700 or $1,000 or whatever it might be, and then I go, man, all right, well, that was a waste of money. Now I'm going to mix it myself.
Oh
So
no.
yeah, it's tough, really tough.
Oh no. I've thought about that. Like, do I hire an editor for this show? Because it just takes time. It just takes a long time.
Hmm.
And I kind of hit a point where I'm like, yes, it takes time, but also, is someone else who listens to the show, whether they listen every week or not, are they really going to understand, like, how I really want the show to sound? So I'm like, yeah, it's kind of not. I'm kind of in the middle of that where, like, I'd like to have the free time, but also I may end up going back and doing it myself anyway.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
You kind of hit that point where you have an idea, you have what the song should sound like you have that idea, and someone else will have your kind of roadmap, but may not have the same destination in mind. And
Hmm.
so it's kind of hard to juggle. Do I need the time to do something else? But also, is this going to sound how I want it to sound? Right?
Yep. Yep. By the way, I have a podcast editing like secret that I found. If you're using Final Cut, I don't know if you're using Adobe or anything else, and I don't know why we're getting so technical, but if you're in Final Cut and you're editing like a long video or a talking video, like a podcast, there's a button J, K, and L on your keyboard will actually speed it up, so you can edit and you can watch it back at 200 speed, at 200% speed or 300% speed or whatever. And for long content, it's the key to be able to fly through it, make sure you're editing everything quickly. That's my secret of the day.
Wow, there you go. Podcast tip of the day right
Right.
there.
Yep.
Video. I do videos for Patreon. I have no subscribers because no one cares. No one sees my stuff. But yeah, I do the video. I don't edit those though. They just go like Patreon. You get the raw, like, here's what I did, and then everyone else gets the polished version that I actually work on. Should I be doing it backwards? I don't know, but it's kind of a thing I decided to do because someone said you should do this. I'm like, all right, start paying me money then. Thank you.
Well, good for
Appreciate
you. I
you.
mean, as you develop your listeners and a fan base, I think you'll find Patreon's really valuable. I've been on Patreon since 2014, and it's changed my life, and it's allowed me to have success or be able to continue. And some of my like worst times, I broke my spine a few years ago in a
Oh,
snowboarding accident, and
good God,
I
man.
couldn't do any other work. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't even like sit up. And all I did was I like laid down and I wrote songs, and my patrons were the people that supported me behind the curtain to be able to write songs. And I shared songs with them that I wrote every week. And Patreon kept me afloat. And in me sharing my hardship, my patrons started to share their own hardship and started to build a little community of people that were brought together by me and my music, but all ended up becoming friends and being there for each other. So, yes, I know you might be growing your Patreon, but be consistent, and I think you will eventually find your community. And it's really powerful when you do.
It would help if I actually promoted. Like, that's one thing I've never been good at, is sharing my stuff. Because I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do it the same way if I get 7 downloads or 700 or whatever. So I'm just like, yeah, all right, here I am. I don't know. I'm not really never been good at that. But that's an amazing story that you have a community because you broke. I'm sorry, you broke your spine. I can't wrap my head around like how you come back from that. So good Lord, man. How do you, you're good now though? You're okay?
And I'm good.
Mostly?
That was a pretty low moment in my life, but
You don't
Music
say.
and art. Yeah, I know it was. Music and art is like a very I started playing music because I fell in love with music and how it made me feel, and it makes you feel a little bit less alone in the world, and I don't know, it might empower you. Put a guitar on and run around the room rocking out, whatever it might be. Very healing and very inspiring. And so I started from a young age understanding the power of music and trying to have that be my life goal. And so yeah, I mean, sometimes things get tough and music can be there for you. Sometimes things are great, and music's always been there for me as well. So yeah, I mean, hey, creating content, keep it up. Your impact, even at one person, can be really surprising. Each person matters, each view matters, each play matters, and it's so easy to be numb to the fact that your peers might get millions of views or plays or hundreds of thousands or whatever. And I think it's important to remember that each one of those views or plays matters and can change a life and can be, yeah, really important.
Yeah, it's so. I don't even look at my numbers, to be completely honest with you. I just don't even care. Not that I don't care. That's not true. But I don't focus on it, and I don't know. I feel like that's just. I'm just going to put it out. I'm going to do the show in a way that if somebody says, "Hey, don't talk about this anymore. Do something else," then okay, we'll make a note. We'll take it into consideration and kind of change the show. And that's how the show's evolved over the number of years I've been doing it. And it's just like, yeah, if one person goes and listens, that's somebody taking time out of their day to listen to me talk about whatever it is, and that means a heck of a lot to me. Which is
Hmm.
like, yeah, you have decided that you want your time to be spent with me in your head talking about music and breaking spines and whatnot. And and it's like that's yeah, I'm always grateful for that. So yes, all of you, even though I don't know all of you, thanks, community people. I
That's
appreciate
awesome.
every one of you. So I'm kind of a singer myself. I've done some singing in my day. I am both impressed and kind of jealous at your vocal range. So you said you've been doing music for a long time. Are you classically trained? Were you singing in the car one day and someone said, "Hey kid, start doing this more often and try to hit this note"? Like, is it something that you just kind of rolled out and could do, or have you been trained how to hit all these high notes that I certainly can't hit?
I sang to serve the song for many years. I was like a fine singer. I wasn't good. I'm a first generation singer in my family compared to my wife, who her entire family breaks out into like 4-part harmony all the time at all the holidays. So
Oh my
I'm
goodness. They're coming back on the holiday show. We're gonna do some singing together. It's gonna be
Yeah, no, they're crazy. My wife's dad is always playing the most insane shows. He plays the arena here all the time. Like when her water broke, he was on stage with Keith Urban and Maren Morris. Anyways, my wife's side of the family, my wife's side is all music. So I'm a first generation singer, and I grew up playing guitar in bands. But I was never when I was in high school, I was not the lead singer. I was always backup, and I always just played lead guitar. And then towards the end of high school, I started to learn to sing more. My like silly senior project or whatever was like my first recording where I played every instrument, and I went into a studio and I studied voice for that entire year. So that was sort of the beginning of it. And then I went to college and I started studying business and vocal performance. So I was at University of Oregon where they're teaching a lot of sports business. Meanwhile, I'm daydreaming music and I'm watching YouTube and I'm seeing all these people blow up on YouTube, which now are my friends. And I was like, I can do that. I was seeing people like Alex Scoot produce every instrument on his YouTube videos, being like, I can do that. So I started making YouTube videos, and I actually got discovered and brought and put into a boy band where again I was like not taking my singing. We were like a rock boy band. We were going to be like the next One Direction. I signed a horrible record deal and I moved to Los
Oh
Angeles,
no.
and I learned all the dark side of the industry. I got so screwed in this. But I did this band. There was a lot of like false promises. We thought we were going to get paid. We thought we were going to have a TV show. We had all these promises. We had 4 managers. Um, what a nightmare. We ended up
Wait,
trying
4
to
managers at the same time, or like 4
same time.
managers?
Yeah. We had four
So
managers.
so you're like Peter Gibbons in Office Space. You have 8 different bosses, people
Yeah, it was
coming and tell you
horrible.
about it. Oh my god, that sounds awful.
It was really bad. So we ended up trying to like get out of our management contract. They tried to sue our parents and sue us for $250,000 for like their time. It was a nightmare. They told us we were never going to work in the industry unless we like paid them this money. And we tried to like offer them. I'm going into down a deep path. You asked me about my singing.
That's interesting too. Like I was going to ask you about that anyway. Now that you brought
Yeah,
it up,
yeah. So I
now,
went down
share
this.
whatever you're comfortable sharing.
No, I don't think that they're. I haven't said any names yet, so no managers are going to come after me for their defamation. But
I'll cut
they
them out if you
totally,
do.
yeah, they screwed us over really hard. And so now we went out on our own. Now 4 guys became 3 guys, and we were independent. This was now at this point. This was probably 2012, and I recorded and released our debut album, and the band was called King the Kid at this point, and our album was called Start Something, and I wrote all the songs for it and produced it myself. And I was the lead singer, and I was pushing my vocals as best as I could, but I wasn't great. I had done vocal performance in college, remember? So I was singing a lot of like Italian tenor, classical tenor in college. My singing was fine. I would go on tour and I'd get too tired and wouldn't be able to like keep up with the songs that I recorded the vocals to. It was really hard on me. And life goes on, and now 3 guys becomes 2 guys. We got screwed by that band member as well. And again, I was progressing my singing and I was doing covers of songs, but I was not a great singer. You commented me a lot on my range. I was a fine singer, and life goes on, and then TikTok happens. And meanwhile, I've probably have, I think, maybe just under 200 covers on YouTube and Spotify. So that's a lot of productions, that's a lot of mixing, that's a lot of videos I've edited, and time spent creating content. So I've certainly sang my butt off, and I've toured the US probably like 6 times. I've toured Europe twice. And TikTok comes along, and I start posting videos. And people are responding, of course, to the high notes. So fine. I already had like a pretty decent range. I was proud of my high notes. And I had like a few aha moments in recording covers where I like unlocked a different part of my voice and was like singing extra high, and it felt really good, and my placement was great. So then I started to take my singing a lot more seriously because of TikTok, and I realized that clearly the videos that do better are the ones that I'm singing my ass off. So I started training 3 hours a day, maybe more, vocally, like in the same way that an athlete would train to be in the Olympics or something. You're training exercises, technique, you're tracking your skills, and every single day my practice routines were becoming more and more complicated, more and more difficult, and the content I was releasing was always at my 100%. And the way I've been doing my TikToks is I do them live. So a lot of people go out there and they'll do a cover singing of something, and they record it. They'll record it into their microphone, they'll edit it up, and they'll do their takes, and then they'll lip sync it to a video. Well, I hated watching stuff like that because it's disingenuous, and I can tell they're lip syncing, and it doesn't match. So I started doing my TikToks live, which is a nightmare because I set such a high bar for myself. So I have to get the lyrics right, I have to get the musical performance right, and usually I say something stupid at the beginning or end of it, so I have to not stumble. Um, Meanwhile, I'm pushing myself to 100% of my vocal skills every time. There's like not a TikTok that I've made where I like had more range on top of it. Maybe sometimes, but usually I'm at full capacity. So I've been pushing myself now for a few years at full capacity, with working on my voice for a few hours a day at least, and now my voice is on another strength. I became very competitive, and would study a lot of the greats and do covers of Celine Dion songs in her key as a male, saying, no, I'm going to do it in her key, and I'm going to hit the notes, and I'm going to hit the notes, and I'm going to do the high harmony as well. And I just started learning from the greats, and Whitney Houston and Steve Perry of Journey, and just covering these challenging songs. And at the same time, I've been giving my voice just powerhouse training. So now I got to go back out on tour, which I just returned home, and my voice is another machine compared to how it was in the past. It's almost unrecognizable from the covers I did back in the day to now. It's sort of like I've got a car that can go 180 miles per hour on the freeway if I need to, which is really exciting. And I don't mean it in like a cocky way, but like I just feel like it's like I'm at the gym or whatever, and I'm like working out, and I'm stronger now. And it feels really exciting to go out there and get to exercise on stage and show what I can do now. And I really do thank TikTok, because sure, my success was if I sang crazy stuff. So then I was like, all right, well, I'm going to just sing crazy stuff and work on it for a few years now. So I had all that back catalog of studying voice in college and slowly working on my voice and starting singing later on in life, now paired with sort of athlete style training for the last few years. And I've unlocked like a new skill set, which is really exciting.
Man, that is, I I don't know anything about TikTok, but let me start there because I was going to ask you about that. How TikTok has really kind of helped you grow and learn, but you covered all of it. But I don't have TikTok. I don't know I don't usually do video stuff anyway, so I don't know how I would use TikTok. But so that's really been your like the catalyst for your massive growth in terms of engagement, viewership, and kind of kicking you on the road to training your voice to make it, the best part of your body, maybe. Does that make sense?
TikTok has changed a lot of people's lives, but it's changing culture. Um, I mean, you can go look at the top charts; it's all TikTok. You can go look at just television. Basically, short form digital content has changed the way we absorb content. So now you can see Instagram is no longer posting photos or highlighting photos. They're now on video. Facebook is on video. YouTube shorts are very much a thing. Short form digital vertical content has changed everything. So I've been posting on YouTube for a long time. I started my YouTube channel in 2011, and I had creeped up to maybe 150,000 followers, which is a lot. And my Instagram was maybe at like 15,000 followers, or 20,000 maybe when I started TikTok. And all of those have completely multiplied. Now I have 1.6 million followers on TikTok. That these are people that didn't know I existed, that they're going, wait, your voice is awesome. Where the hell have you been all my life? And I'm over here going, hey, I've been on YouTube since 2011 trying to make a living. What the hell? But it's really cool because now people are discovering me, and I've got a back catalog of music. Now, unfortunately, it's under another name, but we can talk into how I was creative about how I modified that to drive people to my new name, my name, because I remember I was releasing under a band, multiple band names. So yeah, TikTok has brought a tremendous new audience to discover me and so many other talented people in all industries. Chefs that just react to videos that they now probably have the capability to start their own restaurant because they have great reactions to videos. The amount of content and creators out there that TikTok and short form content has changed their life is incredible. I know so many people who were going to give up and just go get that corporate job and not be working in the arts that they've always wanted to, that started posting and now have an audience and a fan base, and they feel empowered to be able to go and chase the dream again. And that's something that I had always I'd never given up on. I have always been fighting for creating music and art, and I've always been independent in that sense. And TikTok has brought a new breath into my art and my passion and monetization and support and community. And I just played a tour, and I've toured many times, and it was really weird to me because I have played to no one so many times. I played to empty rooms, and
Yes,
it's
join the club.
oh my god. And now for the first time people are showing up, and I like felt like I sort of embarrassed myself too, because like I remember one show I was like, who's seen me in the past? And it was like crickets. And I was like, oh man, like these
Yes,
are
you've
all new.
finally been humbled.
Yeah,
Yes.
these are
That's
new
that's what you
people.
get.
No, but I've done for so long, but I embarrassed myself on stage because I like, because I felt like maybe, oh, these people have come out to my shows in the past, but no, they have not. They just discovered me through a video of singing my butt off. And the cool thing about it is TikTok is just one of the vertical short form digital content platforms. People might easily discover you on Facebook from short form video. Now Twitter is really pushing short form video. Um, YouTube, YouTube Shorts, it makes more sense to create short form content right now. And if you have viral success, then you can record a cover. Whereas in 2013 or 2014, 2012, if Katy Perry came out with a new song, it was a race for me and all my peers to try to record a cover the next day, because that was the way to get the eyeballs, was to be the related video to Katy Perry's music video. So that would be the quick, all right, let's record a full cover. Now it's different. Now it's, you can record short form content, and if it goes viral, you can cover it. You can take a look at I don't know if you've heard that song "Running Up That Hill" by Kate Bush. That song came out in the '80s, and now, how 30 years later, that song has blown up. She's making probably, I'm gonna say, millions of dollars every month from that song, and it's changed her life and so many people's lives.
And she gets all that money, by the way, because she is the writer, composer, performer. She pays no one. Like, she doesn't have to worry about all the hands in the pot, as it were. She gets all the money. Just, I always like to throw that whenever somebody brings that up. I like to throw that out because it's something that you kind of should consider, right? If you're in the business, you have to think about, like, okay, I can make this much money from these songs, but then, oh, what about all these other people who have put their time and attached their names to this in whatever way? So now we have to kind of worry about that. Where Kate Bush just said, "Screw you all." Kate Bush, sorry, I talk fast.
Mhm.
Said, "Screw all you people. I'm making all this money. You're not getting into my profits." And now, it's been in shows. It was on the OC, I think. It was in. I mean, WWE used it 10 years ago for WrestleMania, and now it was in Stranger Things. And I mean, I've never seen it, but millions of people watch that show. So it gave it a new life, which is fantastic. So people are like, "Oh yeah, we're just found this song." We're like, "Yeah, she's been making money on that song for 40 years almost. Good
Yep.
for her."
Yeah, so the content that you make, that back catalog, can really find new life, and that can come through new digital media, or it could be television or whatever. But um, yeah, it's really exciting to know that my back catalog's not just dead, and that it can go somewhere.
Yeah, because no one now wants to at first listen to a full song anymore, right? Or watch a whole, like, nobody wants to watch a 5 minute song video because they're like, that's an eternity, right? So I want to watch you do a 30-second cover of like or watch the chorus and go, wow, this guy can sing real good. And then, hey, what else does this guy do? What else does he have? And then they scroll through your TikTok, and then they find your YouTube, and like, hey, this guy's pretty good. And then that's how now you're sitting here with little old me talking all about breaking your back and being a wonderful singer and using the technology of the time to your advantage. Fantastic.
Yeah, yeah, it's really it's just a crazy time. It's really exciting, and I've been in the industry for over 10 years at this point, and successfully navigated something that's been difficult. I mean, iTunes was a thing, and it's no longer really a thing. And then now you're dealing with Spotify, which is how music is distributed, and they're the tastemakers. They tell people who and what to listen to, but at the same time, we're not getting paid. 100,000 Spotify streams, if I own 100% of my music, which I do, 100,000 Spotify streams is only $300.
Yeah.
100,000.
Yeah. And that's really like, I mean, we don't have to talk about the messes of that, but that's the really unfortunate thing where you have to push your music to Spotify because that's how people are going to hear it. That's the platform most people are using. But how many of those, say you have 100,000 streamers, how many of those are going out to buy the song? Half? Less?
Oh no, it's
Right?
far less. You have to beg to get people to buy the song. You have to actually like instruct them how, because when people try to open up iTunes, it opens up Apple Music, which is just another music subscription platform. You can buy music on iTunes, but you have to try to bypass Apple Music, which is difficult because they want you to subscribe.
Of course. Yeah. Everything has turned into, like, you used to be able to get, it was a podcast editing thing that Adobe Audition. And you used to be able to get a lifetime license for, like, I don't know, $60 or
Mhm.
whatever. But like 4 months ago or longer, they decided, hey, we're not going to do that anymore. Now you pay us $22 a month for the same service that you once paid us to get a lifetime for. I'm like, "Yeah, all right, that's kind of where we are. Like, we're in, you stream it, so you don't own it. You basically rent it for as long as it's on the service, depending on who decides when that clock ends. And then to buy it, no, you have to subscribe to our service, and then you still don't. But cheap plug, Bandcamp, best way to do it. That's what I found anyway, is I've gotten more people listening through Bandcamp than anywhere else, because it's like, hey, I can listen and download this in the same place and no extra stuff to do. So that's like the third interview in a row I've plugged Bandcamp. I don't work for them. They don't sponsor the show, but I'd love it if they did. But yeah, no, Bandcamp, I think, is like, because you mentioned you can't, iTunes, you can't, you have to take a lot of steps to get there. So I don't know, put your stuff on Bandcamp, tell people to go there. Would that work I'm going to advise you here. You're welcome. Free music advice from a guy who is not a professional musician. Well, technically I am, but who doesn't do it for a living.
Yeah, Bandcamp is great. I used that in 2015 at the end of a difficult band breakup, and it allowed people to pay whatever they wanted for the song, which was something that Radiohead came up with. And that model was really cool, where people would say, "Look, I love this song, I love this artist, I believe in them. I'm not going to give them $1.29. I'm going to give them $30." And so people would be able to support the art, and it helped create more value. It helped realize the value that our art is out in the world, because right now there's an imbalance. We create art, and Spotify is telling us that our art is only worth 0.003 cents, and our art can change someone's life. Our art can affect somebody in such a big way, and the value exchange is off right now. So yeah, Bandcamp is an open one, but just so you know, your Patreon, you can listen to podcasts in the Patreon app and have your audio be right there. So another plug for Patreon.
That is true. I do put these shows up on Patreon a couple of days early. So
that's exciting.
Yeah, sign up. $5 a month. That's a plug for me. I don't know. How much is your thing a month? You have tiers, right?
So my Patreon, and I've been on there since 2014. My Patreon is not per month, it's per creation. So usually, or at least in the past, it was like 2 YouTube videos a month. That was the way that I was funding things. But when everything turned to short form digital content, I did start funding batches of covers, of short covers. So I still was funding 2 a month. So the way that works is people on Patreon can pledge $10 or $5 or $20 or $50 or $150 per thing, and then they can choose how many things they want to fund. And based on my data, most people only fund 1 or 2 things at whatever they want, $20 or $10 or whatever. And then there's a handful of people that do unlimited, and a handful of people that are like 3 or 4 things. But I usually only charge 2 things per month, sometimes 3, but usually 2. So if I release an actual original song, I might give them the audio early, and then I might fund also the music video. So that would be an example of 2 things that would happen. That's what happened this last month.
Okay. Well, there you go. See, so you have options, and I'm going to put all the link tree, all your stuff, because your link tree is packed. There's a lot in there, which is great, because it's like, hey, Linktree, by the way, it's a pretty great platform where like, hey, here's all my stuff in one place. It's all there.
It's hard to organize, and I'm constantly having new things change. Yeah, it's not. I like Linktree, but I feel like I'd love to buy my own website that would work. But I've been struggling with the fact that my name is like a name of another composer, which that made changing my music difficult, because David Michael Frank is a composer from the 80s. And
you're also related to the Power Ranger,
Jason David Frank,
right?
Yeah, there's a bunch of us. There's a bunch of us. And so yeah, I can't find a URL for my name that is anywhere close to what I want. So I would make my own link tree in my mind, but I there's nothing. DMF, no. Like, I tried to buy that website recently, and the guy wanted like $50,000. And I was like, no.
Oh, kick rocks, bud. Oh,
exactly.
That's not good. Well, people always confuse me for the Melting Pot, the restaurant. So
delicious.
That's always fun. Yeah, they always like, hey, when I think about your show, I think of the restaurant and I want to eat there. I was like, well, that's great, but I don't get a kickback for that. So maybe I should partner with them and say, hey, I don't know what did they get out of that?
Well, you could do a podcast. All your podcasts could be while eating fondue. You know? It's sort of like Hot Ones with wings, but
I don't think I've ever had fondue.
Oh man, it's life-changing. I
bought
one of those little Amazon fondue pots. for your wife, go. I'm telling you, do this as a date. But now, like, you own it. They're not that expensive. It's just, it heats up automatically, right? It's like 20
Okay.
bucks or whatever. So,
All
but
right.
you get that. Now you've thought of this perfect date night, and you could do either, you could take it down the cheese route, which I'm telling you, there's all kinds of pre-made ones ready to go, Swiss cheeses, or you can make your own, do cheddar, mix some beer in there, do like a medley of different cheeses, and then go pick up apples and pears and uh, breads and different stuff to mix into the cheeses. You think cheeses is fun. Now go chocolate, and you can go, strawberries, and you can do a combo of dark chocolate, white chocolate. Now that's your ultimate date night, and you own the thing for 20 bucks. So from time to time, bust out that fondue, and your wife will love you forever.
Okay. Well, we're married 10 years tomorrow, so that's going to be
Congrats.
that's a good thing. Thank you. It doesn't seem like it's real, but here
10
we are.
years.
It's nuts.
That's exciting. Where were you married?
We were married in it was a place in Bristol, PA called Silver Lake Nature Center. We got married in like their outdoor amphitheater, like back in the woods basically, because they charged us $55 and we're like, that sounds good. And it was the hottest day of my life. And it was like so like the day it took I don't want to go down the whole thing, but it took us a winding road to get there. But once we did, it was like, you know what? This turned out pretty great, have to say.
That's awesome. Yeah, we
Yeah.
had a COVID wedding, so we planned it 3 times and we kept getting canceled on. And they were like, "Well, you could eventually send your invitations out if the guidelines change." And so like we had to cancel 3 weddings. And then we did a small COVID wedding, and
Oh God.
it was a
Oh,
nightmare.
that I can imagine. I mean, we had a kid in COVID, so as did you. So
Mhm.
that was quite the set of challenges as well. Um, yeah, messy challenges. You're breaking your back. You're learning TikTok, and iTunes abandoned us. We're just all kinds of problems we're having. Uh,
Yeah.
no. So I know you got to get out of here. I have 2 more questions. One's a little bonus for the end of the show, but we've kind of talked about only one about how like this is your solo debut. This is your kind of reintroduction as yourself. So how much of this was written by you? How much of this did you lean on the professionals? It's been out for about a month now, right? So how has the response been? Tell me all about it.
Okay, so this song was written in a very unique day where we actually wrote 3 songs in one day, in one session. I've never done that. It was literally like,
Jesus.
yeah, it was crazy. So it was just like little ideas, and then we were like, all right, we've got this idea, and then we've got this other idea and this other idea, and we started with these 3 like ideas. And we are like, where do you want to start? We're like, I don't know. And so we like quickly like did one of them, and I don't remember if only one was the first or the second or third of the 3, but it was a day that was 3 songs in 2 or 3 hours. It was nuts. But I have 20 or so songs to choose from for the debut single. I chose that one just because it had sort of a, honestly, it was not offensively too rock and not offensively too slow. It was sort of like a good thing that I felt like people were gonna more people were gonna like it than like hate it. And I was about to play it on tour for a month without people having heard it. So I played it every night, and people went hard. The official music video is a compilation of footage from that, of me playing it every night, and the crowd was wild every night, and it was really cool to play a song that wasn't out, and people were rocking out. And I had posted little clips of the chorus, so people actually already knew the words, which was not to the verses, but to the chorus. They already knew the words, so that was cool. And then when the song came out, we charted as an independent artist. We hit number 2 on the alternative charts, directly behind Imagine Dragons. But this was the same day that Demi Lovato's album came out and Panic! At the Disco's album came out, and we were ahead of them. So it hit number 2 on alternative, and then on all genres, it hit 38. So top 40, woohoo! But
Yes,
remember,
you made it.
I made it, but I don't have any form of radio or any form of support. So I'm not getting the banner on Spotify to be like, buy this song or stream this song. Whereas like Panic! At the Disco's album comes out, and of course they get all of that promo. So I was on the charts for just a few days before I dropped back because I don't have the push. It's not fair. But anyways, the song was very well received. I'm doing an open verse challenge, so I've been inviting people to duet. I basically recorded a TikTok, and I left the second verse open. So I sing the chorus and I say, you sing your own verse. And then I've had people submit into that contest to do their open verse and to write their own verse to my chorus. And I'm running that contest still for a few more weeks. And anybody that enters has the opportunity to be flown out to Nashville on my dime. I'm going to fly. I have some Southwest miles, so there you go.
There it
But
is.
I'm going to fly him out to Nashville, and we're going to record another version of Only One, and I'm going to include that person's verse in the song. And we'll also do a cover together to sort of like re-promote it. So that's something that's sort of unique and cool. I'd ask my wife, like, hey, is it cool if I fly someone here? And she was like, that's weird, but let's do it.
So there you go. You can be a part of the thing, and I can't help you push the song, but I can play it. Does that work?
Yeah, you can play it. Yeah, the song's called Only One, written with two other people, Chris Sly and Mary Cutter, who they're very country, and I'm not as country, but we all sort of melting potted our genres.
You owe me $25. Thank you.
That's 900,000 streams. So yeah, and on to the next. I have an acoustic version of Only One, but then I've got like 20 other songs that I need to record that are written. So I'm very excited.
Okay, so you got enough for like 3 albums almost.
I'm just gonna keep rolling singles until something pops off, and then I'll put whatever batch together into an album, and that'll be the first album.
Yeah, I've talked about this with a lot of people. Like singles seems to be the way to go because, like we said at the beginning, short form stuff is kind of where we are at this point. It's kind of like, oh, nobody's going to sit down and listen to 8 tracks or whatever, but they'll listen to one, they'll stream one and get you kind of some play there, your 7 cents from Spotify. So yeah, that's interesting. And then make us all pay for them again when you release the album. That's dastardly, and I love it.
Yep. Now, there is sort of 2 versions of it, though. Number one, like the other way is if you did have an album right before, you don't have a huge window, you maybe get a year. But if you had an album that you're still confident about and it's out, and then you promote, you go try to go viral and just constantly drive people back to your first album, there's that sort of discovery model as well, which we've seen some TikTokers do lately, which really does work too.
Okay, so there you go. So embrace the TikTok, kids, and somebody younger than me, teach me how to use it. And then, just do all the work for me. All right, I'll give you a Wawa gift card or something. Oh, you're not from the East Coast. You don't know what Wawa is.
I just got off tour. I am very familiar with Wawa, and it has saved the tour at many late nights, and we've been able to eat food.
I'm going to cut around that and say, we love you, Wawa. Sponsor the show. We're going to cut around that just in case. But yes, I have one more question for you at the end of the show here. But for the moment, friends, here it is. David, I almost said Jason David Frank because I made the joke a few minutes ago. David Michael Frank, the song is Only One. My friend, thank you for the time, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
So here it is. More me right after this.
You're not the only one. You're not the only one. I've been stumbling through the darkness. We've been struggling with these heartless fights, and to know that you've been guarded, 'cause I've been trying hard to be alright. I've been pushing, you've been pulling. We've been breaking all the rules in, through the whispering and shouting. I just want you to know you're not the only one who thinks there's something here worth saving. We're not done. We got left to live, but we're both tired of waiting and holding on. So clear out my heart, it's yours for the taking. You know this is love, and you'll always be my only one. 'cause we got life to live and we're both tired of waiting and holding on. So clear out my heart, it's yours for the taking. You know this is love, and you'll always be my only one, my only
And there you have it, my thanks to David Michael Frank. The song Only One, Go Get the Thing Where You Do Those Things. I'll put the link to it in the show notes. You know the drill. That's a fantastic song. I love it. Only One. So good. So good. Love that. I'll put all of his stuff in the show notes at the meltingpat.com. His link tree will be there, all the things, a link to buy the song. Whichever one that I can find faster, I think is what I'll do. So there you go. My thanks. I hope all the things worked out for us. My thanks to David Michael Frank for joining me. My thanks to Hope for sending him my way. Tremendous. Love every bit of it. You like that one? Does that work? That's good, right? I don't know. I feel like whenever I try to go too high on those riffs, it doesn't work out. But, maybe an actual good singer could do that. David's going to be listening to this, be like, hey, man, you should do it like this, and just jump it up 3-4 octaves, be like, wah, and go that way. I don't know. That hurt, actually. That physically hurt. Try to do a stupid bit that no one cares about but me. Anyway, David Michael Frank, Only One. He appears courtesy of 25/8 PR. So go get the things. Go follow him on TikTok and Instagram and all those places and YouTube and all that. And join his Patreon and get yourself featured. There's a contest. You can win. You could be featured on his song. And I think that'd be great for you. Right? Would it be great? Would it be awesome? You can fly and meet him and say, hey, I heard about you on the Melting Pat. And he'll say, fondue sounds great. And then you can bond over fondue. You're welcome. You're welcome. I love you too. All right. That's all. We did it. TheMeltingPat.com for all of my stuff. There's a network tab where you can find out all about what's going on with all of our shows. You know the drill, right? Did I just mess something up? I moved a wire, my headphones. Anyway, it's fine. So there we go. We're good. We are good. No G Love and special sauce today because, again, longer shows. You know the drill. But go check them out, Philadelphonic.com. Tell them I sent you. They might remember. They will have no idea who I am. But I love that I get to play their song at the end of most shows. So there you go. That's all. We're good. Thanks for coming. This has been an 8 Boiler production. So until next time, my friends, have fun. Be safe. Thank a veteran. Wear your mask. Wash your hands. Get vaccinated and boosted when you can. And of course, don't do anything I wouldn't do. We are good, right? Yes. Right. David Michael Frank is all the things. All this stuff will be there. Thank you so much for joining me. There is a bonus, of course, at the end of the show. I asked him the all-important question, so stick around after the credits for that. But until then, that's all. We're good, right? Okay. Thank you so much for being here. Enjoy the football this weekend. Good luck in your fantasy leagues. I don't care who's on your team. Good luck. Have fun. And I'll talk to you next time with some more stuff. All right? All right. I love you. You've been inside the Melting Pat on the Next Level Network. I'm telling you, it just sounds better that way. Go crap open a cold one. All right, you are not out of the woods yet. I ask this question of every guest, and I do judge you based on your answer. So, think carefully. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Is a hot dog a sandwich? Well, by all definitions, a sandwich would be bread surrounding a meat. A hot dog does seem to have entered its own category, but is a burger a sandwich? I'd say so. So by that, I'm going to say yes, a hot dog is a sandwich.
Okay. Well, see, this is why I do this at the end of the show, because now we got to scrap the whole thing, because you answered incorrectly. I'm sorry to say.
I'm
You were on
wrong.
the right track when you said a hot dog is its own category. You were on the right track. I'm like, he's going to say no. He's going to get the right answer. And then you took a left turn.
What category is hot dog? Is it just hot dog?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a hot dog. Because here's why. If you go to a deli, right? You're familiar with delis. They sell sandwiches,
Mhm.
right? Turkey, ham, roast beef, whatever. You're not going to see hot dog under sandwiches. You're going to see all the sandwiches and then hot dog, hamburger as their own thing.
So you're isolating hamburger as well. You don't think hamburger counts as sandwich?
No, I'd put it in its own category too.
What about a sloppy Joe?
What about it? See now you're going into whataboutism. I'm not a politician. I don't play whataboutism games. But a sloppy Joe. See, hot food. See, here's the other thing: deli sandwiches, turkey, ham, roast beef, right? Can be cold, can be hot, whatever. Hot foods, they're separated because you have to cook them, right?
Mhm.
And so, why would you put a cold turkey sandwich in the same line as a sloppy Joe or a hamburger or a hot dog?
Okay,
Right?
I concede. I will give you this one.
Another one for the good guys. Let's go.
There you
Yes.
go.
I love asking people that question because it's not a personal thing. It's just like, make you think about something that doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things.
Yep.
But it's
This is
always a
true.
fun way to end the show.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me on.
Oh, thank you, man. Thanks for the time. And this will be up on Saturday. I'll tag you all the places, and hopefully, I don't know, people listen and want to duet with you. That would be great.
Looking forward to it. Thank you so much.
Oh, of course. Thanks, man.